Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Treasurer. Can the Treasurer confirm that Australia has been in a household recession for the past 6 quarters and that this is the longest straight run of falling per capita output on record?
The call to the Treasurer.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. There he is. He's there after all. He is there after all, Mr Speaker, and what a relief for all of us that he is. Mr Speaker, as I said when the national accounts came out last Wednesday, the Australian economy barely grew in the June quarter. That's true in nominal terms, and it's true that the economy is weak per person as well. And that's why it would be absolutely diabolical if we pulled $315 billion out of the economy, as the Shadow Treasurer wants us to do. Now, Mr Speaker, if we had taken the free advice of those opposite, if we had taken their advice, the economy would be in recession right now. The economy would be in recession right now. When we came to office, inflation had a 6 in front of it and it was rising. Interest rates were already going up. There were deficits as far as the eye could see. Real wages were falling when we came to office, Mr Speaker. And because of our collective efforts, we've got wages moving again. We're rolling out cost of living relief. And if they truly cared, Mr Speaker, if they truly cared about household incomes in this country, they wouldn't have called for an election over our tax cuts for every taxpayer. If they really cared about household incomes, they wouldn't be against our cost of living relief. If they really cared about household incomes, they wouldn't be wanting Australians to work longer for less, Mr Speaker. Now, we take a different approach to those opposite, and it's clear in the response to the national accounts that came out last week. Those opposite were desperate for the economy to go into recession. They desperately want higher interest rates. They desperately want higher inflation. They desperately want the economy to go backwards because it serves their political purposes. And they hope, Mr Speaker, that if we go into recession, nobody will notice that we're in the 3rd year of a 3-year parliamentary term and they still don't have any credible or costed economic policies, Mr Speaker. And they still won't come clean to the Australian people what their $315 billion in cuts means for Medicare, what it means.
The Treasurer will pause. There's far too much noise during this first question and first answer. I'm not starting the week that way. We'll have a lot more quiet as we move forward, but the Shadow Treasurer will raise his point of order.
It was a very specific question, relevance, Mr Speaker. We've seen a record 6 quarters of collapsing GDP per capita.
The Leader of the House on a point of order.
The point of order went directly to household. The question went directly to households, which is what the Treasurer is answering.
Well, for there to be some compare and contrasting, there must, of course, at least outline what the government's policy is. So, for the remainder of the answer won't just be about the opposition, because he wasn't asked about opposition policy. He was asked about government policy. And he has the call.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. I'm talking about the madness of pulling out hundreds of billions of dollars out of an economy which is already weak, Mr Speaker, already weak in per capita terms and already weak in nominal terms, Mr Speaker. Now, what we've done, Mr Speaker, is we've managed this economy responsibly. We've maintained a primary focus on inflation, but not ignoring the risks to growth or the pressures that people are under. Now, per capita growth went backwards, Mr Speaker, on a number of instances under those opposite as well. We understand that the economy is particularly soft right now. It would be even softer if those opposite had their way. Their approach to cuts in the budget, Mr Speaker, would be a recipe for recession. We found a way to keep the economy growing at the same time as we provide cost of living relief and get the budget in much better.